What's up, Bulldogs? All right, so I thought I'd do one of these videos. I haven't done one of these videos in a while where I talk about, when things are bad, what to do as I'm going through kind of a hard time right now this past week or a couple of weeks. And so I wanted to talk about that. I want to talk about kind of how I'm dealing with this, what's going on, and then, how to look at these kind of situations, because it's going to happen to you in life. If you guys are just joining me for the first time, I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, how to get the girls you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to what I call the Bulldog mindset. If that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you click that subscribe button down below here. There's also a bell for notifications, and there's a quiz up here, the Bulldog quiz. If you haven't taken that quiz, I definitely recommend that you take the quiz. There's a link in the description as well for that quiz as well, and it will give you your score from 0 to 100, tell you if you're a Bulldog or not. All right, so with that said, I'll tell you kind of what I'm going through right now, and then I'm going to tell you how I'm going to deal with it, or how I am dealing with it, and then maybe that will help you when you get into these situations. So first of all, what's happened with me is I've been training for this 100-mile race for over a year now, and it is taxing. let me put it that way. It is probably the hardest thing I've ever done, and there's been a lot of setbacks along the way. I mean, everything from training not going as well as I wanted to getting sick in February, to rolling ankles, messing up my feet, falls, races canceled, you name it. It's been a nightmare. I've pretty much hit every single workout that my coach has prescribed, except for maybe like 3 or 4 in a year time, just because I was too sick or injured to be able to do those workouts. And it's just, I can't even tell you how taxing it is to be running this many miles every single week, pushing towards this goal, training for this for over a year. It's taken over my life. It's taken over so much of my mind space and my energy. I feel like I don't really have any energy to do anything. I just want to sleep and eat, and I don't even want to run anymore, to be honest with you. So, if we go back a little bit, a few weeks ago, I was supposed to run this 20-mile run and this or 25-mile run and 20-mile run over the weekend. And then on Friday night, I just started feeling sick after my lifting workout. I had already done my run, and I ended up having like 104 fever for basically Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. And then, so I ended up missing both the runs on Saturday and Sunday. And that kind of sucked, so because those were important runs. And then Monday was my day off. Finally, Tuesday, I was able to run again, but I wasn't feeling great. And this was about, this is almost 3 weeks ago. So yeah, like almost 3 weeks ago. And anyway, I talked to my coach. I was ready to just throw in the towel there. I was like, man, this sucks. And we decided to move back my run a week, because basically my race got canceled. So I was going to run this solo, this 100 miles. And so we moved it back a week, and we rescheduled my 25 and 20-mile run for that next week instead. And so I went through the next week, and I had some trouble on the 25-mile run because I was still pretty sick and beat up, and I got 19 point something miles. Was really disappointed in that, and then the next day I was actually able to pull off the 20 miles. I don't know how I was able to do it, but I did, and went through the next week of training. It was tough. And that was actually this last week. And this last weekend, I had to do some really hard runs. And somehow I pulled it off. It was some of the hardest runs I've ever run in my life, just because I was just so beat up, so tired, still feeling sick. So anyway, fast forward to today, and I still have a bit of a sore throat. It's sort of come back more. I'm not feeling great. I was supposed to run this morning, a hard workout run. And I just don't feel like it. I know that this weekend I've got to run a 15-mile followed by a 30 and a 20. And I'm just hoping that I'll be well enough to be able to do it. I'll be recovered enough and well enough. I tried to sleep like 9 or 10 hours last night just to try and recover as much as possible. But the reason why I'm telling you all this, and there's more to it, I've got a ton of emails that I need to get through. I'm supposed to record this video today, which I'm doing now, and I have other videos I need to record, and just a ton of stuff that I need to deal with, and I don't want to deal with. I don't feel like dealing with. And the reason why I'm telling you all this is just so you can kind of see what my state of mind is. It's not great. Okay. I did not want to get up this morning. I don't want to be recording this video right now, but I'm doing it because I want you to see that, I think sometimes maybe you look at my Instagram, you look at my YouTube videos, and you're like, oh, well, John is just always just on top of things, just always kicking ass. And it's not true. It's not true. I mean, a lot of my life I am, but a lot of it is because I'm pushing myself and forcing myself to go through it. And even when I'm pushing as hard as I can, even when I'm forcing myself to do that, there's still times like now where I'm in the bottom. I'm at the bottom of the trough. I don't want to say the word depression because people get all crazy about using that word, but that's really what it is, right? It's a depression. It's probably overtraining. It's probably related to that. It's probably related to being sick. It's a culmination of a lot of things that are not going my way, and frustrating. It's frustrating when you put in the work and and things are stopping you that are outside of your control. It is frustrating, right? Because I don't want to be sick. I just want to get this over with. I want to be done with this run. And this is preventing me. This is holding me back. This is making it tougher than it even already was and needed to be. So the reason why I'm making this video is to kind of tell you, like, what is my strategy? What am I doing? How am I, perceiving this? So I'll tell you kind of, what my plan was. So last night, as my throat was starting to hurt more, I was like, fuck, this sucks. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to sleep as much as I can, try to get as much rest as possible, try to get as much recovery as possible, and see what happens in the morning. And then, of course, when I got up in the morning, I was not feeling great. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to push off my run to later in the day. Probably will skip the lifting today so that I can focus on getting that run done, because that's the most important thing right now. And then I've got this work. I'm gonna pare it down. I'm gonna get done what I need to get done. I'm gonna get rid of all the other work that I have scheduled for this week and just get done the minimum that I need to get done to get by in order to make it through this time, right? I'm not gonna just not do anything at all. I'm not just gonna lay in bed. I'm not just gonna default on my obligations. Instead, I'm going to push forward and do what I can. And that's why, again, like I said, I'm recording this video at this time, is because this is part of it. Now, it took me a little bit to get going this morning to actually sit here and record. I know it seems like a small thing, but it's not. It's not a small thing. When you're feeling like this, it's hard to do anything. But my whole thought process is that I know that this is coming, right? See, I know that there will be days like this because I've gone through this before, and I know that there'll be future days like this. And I know that what I need to focus on right now is just staying the course as much as possible, right? Not losing ground, because that's the key. And so that's the thing that I'm focused on right now, is like, okay, I'm not really looking forward to doing the run that I need to do, but I'm going to push it to later this evening, hopefully, so I get as much time as possible to recover, and then I'm going to get it done, right? And, maybe it will suck, or maybe I might not even be able to finish it, but I'm going to go and give it the best shot that I can, and then do my run tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens on the weekend, right? I'm not going to, give up. I'm just going to push through. Same thing with the work I need to get done. Like I said, I'm going to get the things done that have to get done. I'm going to leave the other things and just try to prevent myself as much as possible from going backwards. That's the key, because that's what I know is going to help me to succeed in the future. And that's the thing, guys, that I tell you guys all the time, like, the biggest measure of success is not what you do, not the Herculean efforts that you put forward. It's how few yards that you lose when things are down, when the chips are down. It's about tightening up and making sure that you don't lose so much, right? So I'm going to keep as much fitness as I can, right? I might not be able to expand the fitness. I'm going to keep as much in the business side that I can, even though I might not be able to grow and expand the business at this point, right? I'm going to continue to do all the things that I can at the minimum level right now until things turn around, because they will eventually turn around and I'll feel on top of the world again. And I don't want to be in a bad position when that happens, right? Because I've done it before, right? I've made the mistake before, and I'm sure that you've probably made the mistake before, where you have been in a bad state, in a bad way, and you've kind of lost all hope, and you're kind of depressed, and so you basically let a lot of things drop, right? Maybe you overeat, you don't exercise, so you gain some weight, right? And this could go on for a month or 2 months or whatever. It can go on for a long period of time. And then you neglect some of the work that you're supposed to do. Maybe you don't answer emails for like weeks or whatever, and so you've got like tons of emails. So you can put yourself in a really, really bad position because you don't feel like you're ever going to feel like it's worth it or that you want to do this again. And so I just try to remind myself that that's not like whatever mental state that you're in now. It's not a permanent mental state. It's never a permanent mental state. You're always going to think differently and feel differently at a different time. And so even though I'm in the midst of it, and even though what I'm saying right now to you, to myself, I disagree with, okay, like my internal self right now disagrees with it. It's like, no, that's not true, John. But I know it's true. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel that it's not true, but I know from the past, from history, that it is true. And I know that there's a part of me that's fighting that doesn't want to believe that, because it doesn't connect with what I feel right now. I feel that is not true. And that's the key is to be able to separate that out and to be able to say, okay, well, regardless of how I feel, I'm going to do. And again, you might not be able to perform at the highest level, right? I know that I can't perform at the highest level when I'm going through a time like this, but what I can do is I can prevent myself from going far backwards. And that's the key. That's really the thing I would say about all this. So my game plan going forward is, like I said, is I'm going to finish up what I need to get done today. There's some minimum stuff I need to get done. And it might not be my best work. Like this video might not be my best video. I don't know. This video may completely fall flat. Who knows, right? But I did it. Okay. And then I am going to get that run done as best as I can. And it may suck. Okay. And I may not be able to actually hit the times that I'm supposed to hit, but I'm going to get out there and I'm going to at least try it. And, and we'll see what happens. And then tomorrow I'll hit my run, and Friday is where the big runs start, with the 15 mile and the 30 mile and the 20. We'll see what happens then. I'm not going to abandon the course. I'm just going to do what I can, even though it seems impossible now. It seems like there's no way that I'll possibly be able to do those runs. I'm going to take it one day at a time, one step at a time, just do one thing that I need to get done and keep on moving forward. And there may be a point where I can't move forward anymore. And if I hit that point, then at least I've given it the best effort that I can. And that's the key. That's what you have to do, and that's what I had to do when I got sick with the fever, right? It was like I didn't have a choice. There was no way that I was going to run the run that I was supposed to run. I couldn't even get out of bed. So there was no way, but I moved it as far as I could. I did every work that I need to before then, so that I put myself in the best position possible for when this shit happens. Because let me tell you guys, like, the shit is going to hit the fan. It is going to happen. I talk about, I think I did a video about how winter's coming. You can check out the video here. And when it does, you need to be prepared for it. So you need to expect that this is going to happen. In fact, I had a live Q&A, I think, for Bulldog Mindset membership. By the way, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. There's a link down below. See, I'm even going to plug it. Even though I don't feel like plugging it today, I'm going to plug it. I'm going to say, go check out the link down below. There's a link in the cards as well. $7 for the first month, and then $30 a month afterwards. Totally worth it. Great group of guys. I've got a bunch of exclusive lessons in there, live Q&A, like I said. But during that live Q&A, one of the guys was asking, he's like, oh, things are going really good for me. What should I be doing when things are going really good? Essentially, what should I be focusing on? And my answer, it's not meant to be pessimistic, although it could be interpreted that way, was focus on preparing yourself, like steeling yourself for the bad times. Because when you're at the top, there's only one direction to go, and it's down. And so and again, this is not meant to be pessimistic, but When you're in good times, you need to be expecting that bad times are coming, because that's the next wave. That's the next cycle. Things go up and down, right? And so if you're at the crest, you can expect that a trough is coming. And so the best thing you can do when you're at a crest is start building up supplies, start building up your game plan for when the shit hits the fan. Because when it does hit the fan, the problem is, you see, like the mental state that I'm in now is not a good one. If I were planning out and trying to decide how I'm going to act right now, I would make bad choices. But what I'm relying on is what I told myself when things were good, was that, John, this is coming. You're going to face this, just like you have multiple times, probably multiple times per year. Okay, that you've faced this, dozens of times in your life, if not more. And it's going to come. And when it comes, this is the game plan. You're going to do what you can. You're going to keep on pushing forward. You're going to get rid of the things that are unnecessary, but you're going to hold the line, right? I've got a really old video on holding the line, by the way. I don't know if we can find the link to it. If so, we'll link it up here in the description. But that's the key, right? Is you have to have that plan. So when things are good, think about how things are going to be bad and set up the plan to put yourself in a good position, or as best position as possible, for when things are going to be bad. That's also another reason why you've got to have the discipline to do the work and to not give up when you're in a good way. Take running, for example, right? So, with my training, when I was forced to not be able to run for 2 days because I couldn't get out of bed, I mean, it sucks that I missed some of those long runs, but I maintained a lot of my fitness because I hadn't missed any workouts up until that point. Now, had I been running good and said, well, I don't really need to hit this workout today, like I'm good, and I had missed some workouts because I was doing so good, then what would happen would be that when I had the unavoidable miss, that would add together with the ones that I missed purposely, and now it would be bad. It would be destructive, right? So that there's going to be days you're going to miss. That there's going to be times you're not going to hit the target because of external things, right? You're going to get sick. You're going to have just, bad shit happen to you. And so if you know that that's going to occur, then the best thing you can do is that when you're not in a bad way, that you accomplish everything you're supposed to do, that you have the discipline. Because if you miss things when things are good, and you mess up when things are good, and then things are bad, those things will combine together, and that's where you really, really fuck up. So you got to be, I don't want to say perfect, but you got to be close to perfect when things are good. Because when things are bad and outside of your control, then you're not going to have a choice. You're going to have to miss workouts potentially. You're going to have to miss some of the work that you intended to do. And so that's already needs to be taken into account when you're thinking about the bigger scheme of things. So, all right, guys, I don't know if this is helpful to you. Hopefully it was. I know that I haven't made a video like this in a while. I know a lot of you guys like to hear what's going on with me, but things will turn around. It'll happen, and I just got to keep on pushing forward, and we'll see. Right now, I'll tell you, honestly, like thinking about doing this 100-mile race, I don't even want to do it. I don't even want to step a foot outside the door and run ever again in my life at this point. But it doesn't matter. It's something I've committed to. It's something I've decided already, and I'm going to push it as far as I can. And, maybe, what will happen is that I won't be able to accomplish. Maybe I am too overtrained or burned out, and I won't be able to actually do what I intend. But I'm going to have to actually push myself to the point of failure to discover that I'm not going to give up before I actually fail. So that's it, guys. All right, if you haven't already, like I said, check out the Bulldog Mindset membership down below. Click the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time, hopefully with some better news.